and welcome to the channel. Today we're talking about how to handle a police summon in Brazil. My name is Thais Pinheiro and I'm a criminal and white-collar attorney here in Brazil. As I've said in a previous video, a person will know if they are under investigation or if they are involved in a police investigation if they receive a police summon. First, how does the person receive the summon? The police may send it through several different ways. If they send it personally, so an officer actually goes and knocks on the door of the person, that means that the case is of more interest of the police, or the police had a harder time finding the person. So in this case, they should definitely contact their lawyer immediately to understand what is going on in the investigation. The police may also send the summon through the mail. This is the most common type of summon in state cases. So the police will send it through the mail. The person at some point will receive it. Sometimes they will receive it after the date of the questioning, and that is okay. They can also always call the police and request a new date, but they should always do that through a lawyer. So if they receive this type of summon, they will see that the summon has several types of numbers that many times the lawyers can actually use to identify the case and understand what's going on. Sometimes with this kind of summon, the lawyers may not know what it is about, and they will actually have to contact authorities to understand what the case is about. The police may also send the summon through email. Now, email summons are a bit tricky because sometimes they are spam, they are virus. So if you ever receive a police summon through email, you should definitely hire a lawyer to understand if it is actually a summon or not, especially if you're not used to that kind of contact with the police. Usually summons that are real are summons that have the person's name, a specific date, and a specific place they should go to for their deposition. But you should always hire a lawyer to understand if a summon is actually real or if it's not. They may also send the summon through WhatsApp. Here in Brazil, everyone uses WhatsApp. It's very common, so it is a form of communication. The authorities will send the summon informing the name of the person, the name of the police station involved, the address the person should go, or a link to a Teams meeting in which that person can do the deposition. If an authority is actively talking to you through WhatsApp, you should definitely talk to your lawyer. That is not very common. Sometimes it's fraud, or sometimes the authority may request information you do not have to give. So always talk to your lawyer when you're dealing with authorities, especially in these types of cases. And last but not least, the police may call the person to send them the summon. This usually happens with federal police, but it can happen with state police. The police will call the person and ask for an email to send the summon to, but they might ask some other information, and sometimes the person is not prepared and may hand information that incriminates them. After you receive the summon, you should talk to an attorney. The attorney will request copies of the case, analyze it, and set up a strategy. Sometimes there are cases in which the person shouldn't even do a deposition with the police. Those cases definitely don't make up the majority, but every so often we do receive a case at the office in which the police shouldn't be investigating for several different reasons, and we talk to the police, show them that they shouldn't be investigating, that the case should be closed, and the case ends up being actually closed. Sometimes we talk directly to the public prosecutor and tell them that the case should be closed, that the police shouldn't be investigating, and the public prosecutor closes the case. So there are several situations in which a person receives a summon, but they don't have to actually go to the police. Of course, the majority of cases, the person does have to go to the police, and they should have a good strategy defined with their attorney. Now for the depositions. There are two ways that a deposition can be handled in Brazil. The first one is recording. So either the person goes online or to the police station and they will talk to the police. The police will record whatever is said, and that is attached to the investigation. It is important to have a lawyer in these types of cases because sometimes the person says something and the police doesn't quite understand, or it could be misinterpreted. We as lawyers know, or at least have a feeling of what the police is thinking by their questions. So a person may say A, and the police maybe do questions regarding B. And as lawyers, we can talk to the police and actually explain what the person was talking about. So that is very important. Sometimes misunderstandings do happen. The other way that a deposition may be handled is through a summary of what the person said. The problem with this is that sometimes the police doesn't understand what the person actually said, and they may summarize in a way that is incorrect. Or sometimes they will summarize in a way that is dubious, that can have a misinterpretation or a double interpretation, and it can actually hurt the person further on. So the job of the lawyer in this case is not only to help the police understand what's going on, but also to read the summary and make sure that what the person said is what is written down in the summary. Sometimes the lawyer will actually write a petition to help the police and help their client. The petition will have documents that are important for the investigation, an explanation, everything the police should know previously or after the deposition. Sometimes we present them previously. I'll give you an example. If we have a client that is under investigation for money laundering and they are a crypto exchange, for example, I want the authority to understand that they are a very serious company, that the transactions under investigation were actually done with compliance, and that we have all the data regarding those transactions, that everything is well recorded, and we will present that to the police maybe before the deposition. This will show good faith to the police and actually show them where we're coming from. So the hearing will be less about understanding what's going on and more in understanding, clearing any kinds of doubts that there were with the petition. So it's a different type of hearing when we present a petition and when we don't. And that is the strategy that sometimes we use. I'll give you another example. We had a case at the office in which a person did every type of classic money laundering transaction. You just didn't know where the money came from or what was the use of it. Talking with the client, we found out for a very personal and specific reason that they did that with their own money. So the money they took out was the same money they deposited. And it seemed like they had a lot of money, but it was the money from several different of their accounts. It was always their own money. So to explain this to the police is hard. If the person tells the police that it's their own money and they're just, moving money around, moving cash around, the police will have a hard time understanding. We had a hard time understanding in our first meeting. So what I did is I requested the bank statements of the client, and we did an Excel spreadsheet showing that this amount was taken out in cash, this amount was deposited, and we would show that what came out went in, and we explained the personal reason why the client did that, and formulated through a petition. And when we got to the federal police deposition, the chief of police actually laughed because it was so counterintuitive that he had never seen something so crazy for a very personal reason. And the deposition went great. It was much lighter than we expected. It was great. Like they firmly understood why this happened. And the public prosecutor at first glance was a little confused because they thought that it was strange. But in the end, they understood it too, and the person was not charged for money laundering. if we had not presented a petition, probably the police would not understand. So that is something that, sometimes you do. It is important. It really depends. So the strategy after you receive a summons depends on the case, depends on what documents you have, depends on the strategy. But it's very important to always think of a strategy before talking to the police, before giving your version of what happened. Because sometimes you need further explanations, or sometimes you can incriminate yourself. So always have an attorney for any type of summons. So this is how summons are handled in Brazil. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. Comment on anything you would like us to talk about on future videos. And my contact information is in the description of this video, and you can also contact me through the QR code that is on the screen.